Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg, joined today from the Better Business Bureau here in Wisconsin. Lisa is back with us. Lisa, welcome back to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. Always good to be here.
Excited to have you back. Today we're going to take a look at how to recognize phony debt collectors' calls, texts, and mail. When you look at this as, I feel like when you look at this as a whole, it can be pretty intimidating if you're in this situation, knowing that somebody may be calling you or whatnot. But I would say these phony ones, I feel like I hear them all the time. It seems like a constant thing. So first and foremost, when you're trying to figure out phony versus real, like if somebody calls you just out of the blue, out of nowhere, should that be a red flag?
Yeah, it definitely is a red flag. If somebody calls you unsolicited out of the blue, there's other red flags aside from that. If they're going to be, really persistent, the call can sometimes be frightening. It can be harassing. Those are all red flags as well. If they're not acting so professional, if there really is a legitimate debt that you owe, certainly, if the company calls, there's no reason that they can't just be, professional and, inform you of that debt. Now, of course, if they inform you of the debt over the phone, you have every right, and we highly recommend at the Better Business Bureau that you ask for proof of that debt. Uh, you know, Proof of the debt is absolutely pertinent, so that gives you peace of mind, that you really do owe that debt. You now know the details, from when the debt was for, how long ago, what is the company that is claiming the debt. You should receive all of that information in writing and in mail. So make sure that, if you happen to get a call, ask the debt collector, first of all, their name and their full contact information. And there's no reason why they should not give you all of that information. Company name, address, phone number, ask for all of that. And then ask for a validation notice of the debt. So that is, basically that debt collectors in the United States by law are required to provide this information in writing. And that notice must include the amount of the debt, the name of the creditor, the statement of your rights, all of that. And if they refuse to give it to you or they give you a hard time, I would say hang up the phone call at that point.
If you weren't expecting or you didn't have any debts out there, whatever the case may be, but you have engaged with somebody and realized I've been scammed, what would you recommend somebody do in that moment?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you've provided any, financial information to a stranger over the phone or personal information, and you later realize, oh gosh, what have I done? Take time to report it. Report it to your local police department. You can report it to BBB Scam Tracker, of course. If they called on a cell phone, which most of us have cell phones these days, the phone number will be on your phone. So you'll have the name, I'm sorry, the phone number of the company. And, from there, you can start doing some research. You can also report it to the BBB, and plug it into our system, see if we have any information on that phone number, that, might bring up a report on the company. We might have a company name for you, company address, and more detailed information. And if there's not information at bbb.org, you can plug it into our BBB scam tracker at bbb.org/scam tracker, and see if there's any information there. You might see that other people have been reporting, receiving the same call as well. But I think, it's very important to just remain calm, and not panic, because that will help you take the next steps to ensure that, you're safeguarding your information and, you can get the proper advice as to what to do next.
And then, is there any scams that surprise you at this point? I mean, there's so many different variations. It's always altering, which keeps you guys in business, certainly. But unfortunately, these do keep evolving. But is there any that stand out to you that are more than just that phone call or junk mail, so to speak, that maybe just gets you like, hey, you really got to do your homework to make sure it's legit?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, boy, I tell you, I feel like nothing surprises me anymore. But I mean, what it is we see, debt collection scams every year, but we see variation. So we do see those changes from year to year. Some years we might see more reports of, people saying that their family members have been called, asking for their own personal information. So somebody recently reported to our scam tracker online portal. And I'm going to read you this word for word. They said, these people have somehow got my daughter, my son-in-law, and my husband's phone number, and they're now harassing them, wanting to talk to me. They've called twice. The first time they said I owed J.C. Penney $1,300 and I'd be getting papers served on me. They know my address, my birthday. They know the last four digits of my social security number. Can something be done about this harassment, please? They're saying. So, I guess those reports always kind of take me aback because, the scammers are, pretty bold, to be reaching out to a lot of different family members and, calling, outside the hours that a true debt collector can really actually call you. But, there's also, the good cop version of these debt collection scams that we see. And so that I always find that interesting too, because we see this with other scams where, con artists will, sort of befriend you. They'll be polite at first. They act like they have your best interest at heart. And they really want to help you avoid any court dates. They want to help you fix the situation. And then that's where they hit you with payment. So I always think, gosh, that is just so bold, to gain your trust and then, turn around and try to get money from you. So yeah, there's that to be aware of.
It's a lot, but I think recognizing that it does change, and it's always evolving. There's always going to be a new twist, so to speak. But understanding that there is somebody out there to help you out in these things. So I'd throw it out one more time. If anybody has questions or wants to learn a little bit more about debt collection scams, or just in general, kind of your playbook, so to speak, to make sure that you stay safe, know your rights. How can I learn more?
Sure. So they can go right to bbb.org/Wisconsin and click on the news button right on our homepage. And that will bring people to it, more information on debt collection and all of our past press releases and timely topics and recent scams. They can read about all of that. They can also report scams to bbb.org/scam tracker, or certainly contact our office at 414-847-6000.
Lisa, thank you so very much for this great information, and hopefully, again, we can recognize when we see something that is suspicious, and know that there's a path forward that hopefully we can avoid trouble. So, always a pleasure. I look forward to having you back on real soon.
Always a path forward, and thanks for having me.